The Denver Nuggets, they lose to the OKC Thunder 103 to 127. Honestly, in a game that looked like it was going a very different way. I think a lot of people, based on how the first three quarters were going, I think people were expecting that this was going to be a tight game rest of the way. It felt like this is going to be a game that goes down to the fourth quarter, but alas, the Denver Nuggets, for several different reasons, they just did not have enough juice. Michael Malone, somewhat because of what we're going to talk about with the Aaron Gordon injury, he starts Nikola Jokic at the top of the quarter. They're just not able to convert enough shots. And then eventually, because of that, they end up going down, I think, another like by 7 points. And then he goes out. The Thunder get up to a 10-point lead. Joker comes back in the game, but it's not the same. I mean, there are several different things that happen down the stretch to lead to that point. But shout out OKC, man. They should be the favorites for a reason. They are the favorites for a reason. They are the favorites to win a title for a reason. I think that they have a spectacular team. And really, once the game got tight, they were just able to pull away. And SGA made some truly incredible mid-range pull-up like he normally does. But the Nuggets, they continue to have difficulties finding other options with this team. And we're going to talk about all that and more. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. The Denver Nuggets lose 127-103 to the OKC Thunder. And again, this was a game for most of the game. Going into the fourth quarter, the OKC Thunder, they only had a 3-point lead. And at half, the OKC Thunder had a 1-point lead. Now, again, a lot of this is because the Nuggets with a fully healthy squad are just a different type of team. And you saw that in the first half. They got up 14-3, I believe, in the first quarter of this game. And the Nuggets did it off the back that they were just getting really good looks. And they had players that were converting really well. Michael Porter Jr. had a great game. We'll talk about him here in a little bit. He was a minus 33. But again, if you didn't, that's a little bit of box score stuff. Like Porter wasn't in any way the issue. He was clearly the second best Nugget on the court tonight. But this game started off really well. Jokic gets a 2. Drive off Hart. Jokic hit a 3 ball on a 4-5 pick and roll. Jokic got a steal, led to Michael Porter Jr. lay. The Nuggets had a 10-0 lead to start this game. And the Nuggets were playing really good defense. They went to a zone out of nowhere on OKC in the first quarter, and it really boggled them down. Michael Porter Jr. got a dunk off of a Jokic entry pass. And thus, first quarter, Nuggets were up 14-3. And everything was kind of sailing from there. And even after the first quarter, it was a really good game. It was 29-28 Nuggets. The Nuggets, Jokic had 14-5, 1 block, 1 assist, and then 1 block, I believe, or 1 steal on 6 of 11 from the field. SGA had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist on 5 of 10 from the field. Michael Porter Jr. also was playing well. I mean, he was taking care of business. He was finishing plays. And then in the start of the second quarter, again, Michael Porter Jr. was driving by Alex Caruso and getting a finish. He also drove by Caruso, attacked Chet Holmgren at the rim, got a foul, missed a free throw. Russell Westbrook, we'll talk about him today. He had a really bad fade miss. Zeke Naji played good defense. Jamal Murray got fouled. Again, like, things were happening. Chet had 3 fouls through the top of that quarter. Jokic came back in the game up 3. Now, some of this is this. Or down 3, rather. So the Nuggets, their key to success is not losing the non-Jokic minutes by crazy points. Their keys to success are limiting the other team's best player from having like really good numbers. Like in the first quarter, the Nuggets were a +1, and then SGA minutes, and so SGA was a -1. But what happened is when the Nuggets go to their bench, they have to have really good defense and shot making, and they didn't get those consistently. But again, Jokic coming back in the game down 3, that's really not a problem. That's actually, you feel good about that. They were a -4 in the non-Jokic minutes. And then the OKC Thunder, because of how they're structured, they played really well in those spots. And really, Jokic had a skip pass to Christian Brown. He had a really, 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 really good game, especially for most of the game today. They got they were down 8 points at one point in time, but they were able to get all the way back into the game. Christian Brown had a 3 off a DHO. Jokic had a very good defensive first half, I would argue. Depends on kind of how you feel about it. Jokic in the first half, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 6 of 12 from the field. 1 is minutes, you love it. Michael Porter Jr., 16.7 rebounds, 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. And then Christian Brown, 15, 2 and 2, 1 on 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, and he was a +9. So everything was kind of still working in their favor and things were moving well. But the key point in this game that everything changed was Aaron Gordon going out. And one of the reasons is when Aaron Gordon is in a situation where he is able to kind of be the floor spacer that he is because he's shooting 43% from three. And at this point, that is an added plus for this team. Like he's become a legitimate shooter. And you saw in the last game how important that was. And you saw in this game that kind of spacing is necessary. OKC, them running Chet and Ihart and Dub and Caruso and SGA and Cason Wallace, you have to be able to space them out. And in the first half, they did it. They were playing really well in that first half offensively. And a lot of that's because when they have AG, they have versatility. And then also when they go to their 1-2-1 zone, they have size all over the court with Porter, with Gordon, with Jokic, and then even with Christian Brown. And that makes it work for them. But once he went out of the game, it just wasn't the same. Now, Russell Westbrook did get a block and an offensive rebound. He had a few offensive rebounds today. He had 4 points, 11 rebounds. He wasn't horrible today defensively, and the rebounding on the glass is obviously very important things. Russell Westbrook was 1 of 9 from the field today. And really in that fourth quarter, especially, you felt a lot of that, and especially in a game where Jokic, there's two different versions of Joker today. There's the first version where Jokic is 6 of 11 from the field, but then Isaiah Hartenstein smartly fouls Joker on a drive, and the way Joker falls, he falls on his elbow. And now Malone said that Joker's elbow is fine, and he can say whatever he wants. Joker proceeded to miss, I think, the 2 of the next 4 free throws that he took, and he didn't hit another three-pointer or a jumper. He made jumpers in the first half. He didn't make another jumper until the fourth quarter. Clearly something was bothering him, and clearly it was affecting his shot because he was short on everything that he shot basically for the rest of the game. And again, some of that stuff matters, obviously. But again, overall, man, like the Nuggets were still in good spot. Jokic came back in the game in the fourth quarter. He actually started the fourth quarter. Pickett had a nice little like pull-up shot that he hit that ended up being 2. Jokic got fouled by Chet, missed both of those free throws on that shot. Again, despite the fact he said there's nothing wrong with his elbow, Jokic is shooting 82% from the free throw line this year. Again, it's just not something he does, is miss both at the same time. Michael Porter Jr. had a great corner 3. Russ had a good 3, his only make of the game on a pull-up, basically. And then Zeke Naji came in. And then the lead went down from where it was. The lead went from where it was to Jokic in down 10 again in the fourth. And then OKC went on a 9-0 run. Chet Holmgren had 6 fouls today, and the one that he did not get called was a huge swing piece today. Russell Westbrook had a drive, and then what happens is Chet Holmgren hits him straight in the face. Like, it's a clear foul. And Malone lost it because what happened is they don't get the foul call. They come back on the other end and get a dunk, and then they get a tech free throw, and it was a 3-point, it was a 5-point swing or whatever. And Malone gets a tech because he's like, how did you miss that call? And then everybody that watched the replay saw that Chet Holmgren clearly hit him in the face. So it was that kind of swing. It was the fact that Chet was still in the game. He offered a lot, especially in the fourth quarter when the Nuggets no longer had AG and Russ had to step in for Aaron Gordon. We saw the same old, where teams are loading up. They're loading up on Jokic and Murray, and then they're cheating overall for Russ. And in that situation, Russell Westbrook has 2 wide open threes, and he just cannot convert them. Again, that is a product of more injuries than anything else. I just don't think he would have been in the game in that situation. I think Aaron Gordon would have made a lot of difference defensively. But again, Jokic went 10 of 23 today, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Just wasn't the same player after that first quarter, played 41 minutes in this game. He was a minus 13. But again, I wish, NBA.com hasn't updated yet to kind of look at the quarters and how everything were kind of laid out. But Jokic was, I want to say he was a positive, maybe a slight minus. I can't remember what it was going into the fourth quarter in this game. But then they just didn't have enough to get it done. And then in the fourth quarter, after shooting not great the entire game, SGA has a spectacular quarter and just starts making all the shots that he was missing. And then in the game, SGA ends with 40 points, but he shot 32 times today. Nobody else shot more than 14 shots on the team. And again, for the Nuggets, it's like, again, some of this maybe just playoff stuff, but like if he's shooting twice as many shots as everybody else, that just is like, you can easily just get out of that. Like, you have to blitz that. I think SGA, once the fourth quarter got rolling, I think that would have been a time to really press them. But again, shout out J-Dub. J-Dub had 26 points in this game. He had 9 rebounds and 8 assists, 50% from the field, 50% from three, and he had 11 free throws today. He was very aggressive, and he was attacking. Michael Porter Jr., again, like I said, despite being on minus 33, he had 24 points and 15 rebounds, and he had 1 block today with 2 turnovers. But again, he was great. Like, they wouldn't have been in this game without Michael Porter Jr. And Michael Porter Jr. is a minus 33 because he had to carry both the bench and then in the fourth quarter carry with the starters as well. So he carried both bench minutes with the team, and then he carried the starter minutes in the fourth. And so that's why it looks the way it looks. But Porter was great. And, I disagree with some of my colleagues. Like, he was attacking Chet, attacking Caruso. He was creating space. He was the only other player besides Joker that was constantly getting looked, and Christian Brown. Christian Brown was 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 15 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. He was a minus 13. And then Jamal Murray, 6 of 17, 35% from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, open threes as well, and then had 4 assists today, only had 1 turnover. So, again, you just need more. And, again, if the team is not going to have Aaron Gordon played 6.5 minutes, and then he had 5 points and 2 rebounds. He was a +4 in his minutes. He was the only player in a positive plus-minus, and he only got 1 stint in this game. So they're just not going to be able to hang in games like this if they're not fully loaded. They don't have the depth. They don't have the team. They don't have the players coming off the bench. And Julian Strawther, I don't think would have made much of a difference, but that he was also not in this game as well. And then don't tell Santa Cruz, read the bench points. Yeah, so off the bench today, the Denver Nuggets had, let's see here, 4, 3. They had 14 points on the bench today. 14. OKC had 5, 14, 18, 23, 31. OKC had 31 bench points to 16 bench points. So to 14 bench points. So, yeah, that also makes a difference as well. But at the same time, it's also like, sure, but the Nuggets just don't have bench players anyway. They're not a team that employs players that can give you real impact off the bench, especially in besides defensively. And to that point, where is CT's question? Or you can resend it, CT, if I can't find it. There's a lot of people in the live chat right now. CT, you had a question about the Peyton Watson minutes, I think. Just overall viewpoint. Like, yeah, like, I don't know what Malone is going. I don't know what it's going to take for him to be able to consistently play some of these younger players they need to play. Now, I understand why, because trust veterans. But we're running into the same thing where it's like Peyton Watson needs to be developed. Well, he missed a month of basketball, so he's behind. He was playing really well when there was no Aaron Gordon. And I absolutely disagree with Malone just starting Russ because the OKC, once the Nuggets went small, they were able to actually score in the paint in a way they just were not in the first half. Now, again, some of that's because there is no Aaron Gordon. If the Nuggets have Aaron Gordon, the team and everything, it looks a lot different. Like, OKC in the paint was 20 of 26. The Nuggets were 17 of 31. Now, again, like, some of that is just like the Nuggets, in order for them to actually execute their scheme defensively, they have to have a 4 who has size, who can rebound, who can shoot. Finally, NBA.com. So in the first half, y'all, in the first half today, get you the advanced stats for the first half. If NBA.com will do its job. So in the first half, the Denver Nuggets had a 115 offensive rating and a 117 defensive rating. OKC, obviously, but it's a 117 offensive rating. But the Nuggets were scoring. Like, the game was close. It was close. In the first quarter, with Aaron Gordon in that initial first hit, the Denver Nuggets had a 111 offensive rating and then gave up 112 defensive rating. But in the second half, it's where everything flipped. And in particular in the third quarter, they started losing their grip once they went small. And I don't think that's an accident. for the Denver Nuggets to be able to do what they are supposed to do and to play their game, they're going to have to be able to rely on players that are long, that are big, and that are athletic. And for whatever reason, Michael Malone, he just gets to these spots where he just will not trust younger players, and he will only trust veterans to do their job. Like, that's just not gonna work for what they're doing. And again, like, you look at the numbers, SJ was 7 of 16 in the second half. Like, that's good, but that's nothing they can't live with. He had 20 points, but he was 5-5 from the free throw line. I mean, he had some important shots, but Chet Holmgren was a plus 30. What changed? Like, the size and stuff changed. Isaiah Hartenstein with a plus 15. What changed? Like, the Nuggets' ability to attack them on the inside changed. But again, a lot of that happened in the fourth quarter as well. Like, the fourth quarter minutes, the Nuggets were a minus 21 in the first quarter. They got outscored by 21 points. That's just not going to do it. And then they shot 7 of 20 from the field, and OKC was 14 of 19. They shot 74% in the fourth quarter because they just got the momentum. That everything got rolling. And Michael Porter Jr., like I said, minus 21 because he had to play the entire quarter. But I just don't I don't blame. He played 7 minutes and 52 seconds. I just don't blame him for that. I think some of this is the Nuggets are just very limited, and they're not able to beat OKC, who again are the favorite and should be the favorite. They're not able to beat the best team, I think, in the NBA if they don't have what they need. And again, like people saying Nuggets can't defend, like I wish people sometimes would just have honest evaluation of what the Nuggets are doing. The Nuggets played good defense when they had their full squad. That was why they were able to pull away with the lead at the initial instance. But then once the Nuggets start going away from, again, their starters, Zeke and Peyton Watson and Russ, that is their defensive core. But in the half court, they were fine. It was the transition stuff. It was the stuff that happened over the course of it was what happened over the course of the game in the transition. They can't afford it. And I wish people would they would honestly just hear that. Like, the Nuggets cannot afford to have misses to one of their 4 best players. Like, OKC can do it because OKC, they were able to be bad and then draft really well, and then because of the salary cap and the accumulation of draft picks, able to acquire Alex Caruso or Isaiah Hartenstein. They were able to rehabilitate Isaiah Joe. Like, they have players they're pulling off their bench that honestly for the Nuggets would be like real, true rotational players. Like, getting Jalen Williams, like, even him made 3 threes today. That was a big deal. Cason Wallace didn't even play a great game, but his defense was great on Jamal Murray. He played 17 minutes. Aaron Wiggins didn't even do anything today, but he won his minutes by 12. Like, Isaiah Joe is a good shooter off the bench, made a really important 3 when the Nuggets were in the zone. Kendrick Williams got minutes today. Like, OKC just has the ability to lock in ways that the Nuggets don't, which is why the Nuggets are being separated from the OKC tier, which is the true contender list, to where they are. And unless Joker is going to have like a phenomenal game, that is just not their ability. They have to have like this level of play from Joker. And so this is what I mean. They're just going to have to really revamp some things this offseason. And again, man, like, I think the game would have gone different. They may not have won, but I do think the game would have been different if Aaron Gordon stays healthy. But again, that's just what the NBA is right now. Like, if you don't have your pieces and you also miss time, it's going to cost you. And so I think for me, that's just what it's been. AG missed 3 games. He comes back and he looked good. And then Aaron Gordon misses, and then it's just like the team looks like what they do again because they just don't have again. I wish there was I wish there was a way for people just to kind of quantify like what it would have been. But the only thing that I really complain about this game, because I would say that the whistle was what it was. Like, I don't think any side feels really good with how the game was officiated. I do think that them not getting Chet Holmgren out of the game made a big difference because if he gets that 6th foul, now you got to go, with iHeart, and then you go smaller. And I do think that changes things, especially on the inside for Joker. But at the end of the day, the Nuggets were 12 of 40 from 3, like 30%. They were 11 of 20 from the free throw line. Some of that's Joker's elbow. But, like, if they would have made 6, 7 more free throws, they would have had a lead at one point in the fourth, and then the momentum would have shifted different. But if you don't make your free throws with a team like this, but here's the thing I am proud about. The Nuggets had 22 assists. They only had 22. They only had 7 turnovers today. And OKC got 15 points off turnovers. The Nuggets forced 5 turnovers. They got 9 points off those turnovers. The Nuggets only had 46 points in the paint today. OKC did a great job cutting off the paint for the best paint scoring team in the NBA. I mean, all in all, man, like the game plan was there for both teams. OKC was able to execute it with their personnel. And I think the Nuggets, I think they would have been had they had access to their personnel really after the first quarter. But again, like they're too bad on the margins, and OKC is terrific on the margins. And so that really truly is going to be the biggest difference between all of these teams, unfortunately. So yeah, man. I mean, great game for OKC. I think they should be the favorites to win the title. Like truly. I really do. I think they should be the favorites to win the title. I think they can beat Boston too. I think that just from 1 through 10, and then with SGA shot making, like they just have the ability to turn it up in ways nobody can. And honestly, like iHeart wasn't even good today. And I think iHeart can have a very good playoff run. I think Chet Holmgren, who wasn't good today either, I think he can have a good playoff run. J-Dub had a good game today. In the second half, not in the first half. Second half, he was really good. And I think, again, that's kind of be the biggest difference between everything. Like the Nuggets, you know, they could go to the Western Conference Finals this year if things break right for them. They get good shooting. Not if Aaron Gordon is not there. Aaron Gordon's not 100%. They're probably not going to beat anybody, honestly. Like they might win in the first round, but they just don't have the ability. Like here's the other side of this. Zeke Naji has to play and start by nature of how the Nuggets play. Malone is going to start Russ because he trusts Russ. What I'm saying is I have always been on the side of the bigger and more athletes that Jokic has, the better the team is. Malone's philosophy is, who do I trust to make more impact plays? He's going to lean Russ because Russ is a former MVP and a veteran. And I think Malone is off on that. And I think he was off today in the second half because once OKC was able to play versus a smaller Nuggets team, they flipped and the energy changed and their attacking changed. All of it changed. When the Nuggets play big, OKC just can't do that consistently. So unfortunately, it's what it is. Malone is just really dependent on some things, and I think it did hinder him in today's game. But you know, like I said, OKC earned the win. Like there's no going around that. But y'all know what time it is, Swipa gang. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, man. Denver Nuggets play another game tomorrow night versus OKC. What an interesting back-to-back. They play tomorrow evening, and so we'll see how the game goes. But shout out to y'all, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. You'll know what time it is. We out.